on that note, what do you think are some of the tenets of a good leader? Like, so from your vantage point, this is a great example what you told. But if I want to be a great leader, like, what are some of the tenets that I should start to evaluate in me? What do you think?
You start with having a reflection and hopefully getting some feedback from a coach or from a mentor or someone you trust about your strengths. It's really valuable at any point in your career to actually be able to articulate what you know you're good at. And so few people can do it. I ask my clients, so tell me, what are the top 3 things that you do really well? Well, I'm not sure. I don't know. People say that I do this. So number 1 is having awareness about your strength. And the reason that's so valuable is because those very same strengths are usually all liabilities. So your top 3 strengths are usually your top 3 weaknesses. So if you start by having that sense of awareness, then you can start to play the instrument of yourself as a leader and expand the repertoire. So, for example, I know I'm really good at being a great communicator. I have great stories. I have a great sense of humor. I keep people engaged. Okay, so that's great. That's a strength. When is that a liability? Oh, Jeff, it's never a liability. Oh, well, some of your colleagues seem to think you talk too much. You take up a lot of space. You tell too many jokes when they're trying to get work done. You try to influence everybody by telling stories when actually they want data. Hello, all of a sudden you just found out that the thing that you do really well is actually overused. So that's the kind of thing I would recommend anyone who's aspiring to be a leader, even at a very young age, even when you're in graduate school or you're just starting out in your career, start to pay attention. So the 2 things what your strengths are, what you're good at, and also what you love, which is kind of a cliche, but I think it's important to know your passion. What are you drawn to? Whenever I work with a client who has lost their passion, it happens during different times in your life, even if you're very successful. I've had them say to me, I don't really know, Jeff. I'm not sure what I'm passionate about anymore. It's a very simple way to find out. What do you read when you pick up the New York Times or the Boston Globe? Pick up a big newspaper or online on your iPad. What do you go to if you have no assignment? Oh, I go to the travel section. Oh, well, why do you read about the travel section? Oh, because I love to travel. Oh, you just told me you didn't know what you love. I go to the real estate section. Well, what about real estate? Oh, because I love architecture and I love seeing what's going on in the real estate market and I love the economics of it. Oh, so you have something you love. Oh, I read the sports section. Oh, really? Why? You see my point? We do know what we're passionate about. We just don't have it in our awareness all the time. So passion, values, strengths, those are the places I'd start.
I think so. You're raising a very interesting point, and I want to take a slight detour, and I want to talk about this, your perspective as a coach, right?
All right.
So leadership coach. So when I was a working me, and I left that job and started being an entrepreneur, being a leading me, right? So and one of the starkest revelation that I had was how much I was losing just running and not stopping and thinking what I'm doing, right? So as an employee, as a worker, you're too busy executing your day in and out. Like you want to crank, you want to crank some work, you want to see few managers happy, you're delivering, right? So that's your life's mission is make the upper leaders happy, so you exist. Yeah. But then when you stop and then now you're being on a leadership role, then the day I had a coach, the life transformed. And many of my colleagues felt the same way. Right? They all had this aha moment of, what? Like, am I, just because of these tiny things, I'm missing out on that freaking right? And I could have been like, I could have been 10x better.
Right.
And I think you raise a very interesting point, right? So not knowing about what excites us, what is passionate, what sort of we are passionate about. So I'm curious to know, as a leadership coach, right? And whenever I see a coach, I thank them for whatever they're doing and saving humanity and a lot of productivity from making the other guy hopefully see the reflection of what they are. But on the other side, I feel how much is there's a deficit of that kind of um, talent pool, right? So I wish when I was a worker, I had access to, say, a coach, or I had access to just some, you call it mentor, you call it coach, you call it like
Right.
whatever you call it, who just not responsible for my productivity, who just look at me as me and help me navigate my happiness in my work. So when you see that landscape, like I'm curious to know, did you get a chance to think about how much we would be less dying of heart attack if we are slightly living while we're working, right? So it's not a huge leap. It just feel what you're anything you are raising a very interesting point. If you just know what you're passionate about and you just give tiny bit to that, now suddenly you're enjoying your work. It's not a work anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I think that one of my passions in life is to turn everyone I know into a leader and to turn everyone I know into a coach. And the reason it's both is because the best leaders
Hmm.
are those that are open to coaching, receive coaching, and get the benefit of coaching. And then they learn to do it themselves. They understand, they experience the value of coaching, and then they seek to become coaches themselves. And so if you create if you think about it, if you create an organization where coaching is one of the key attributes of the leaders, it's going to be a very powerful environment because people will feel drawn to trust and share with each other in ways that prompt everyone to grow. And that's what we need in this world, is for everyone to have that experience. I mean, we all know what it would be like. Many of us had a great teacher when we were in high school. We look back, or junior school, and we think, I had one teacher.
Hmm.
When people ask me who influenced you, I went back in my yearbook and I saw one person who wrote, I believe that you will have an amazing career. One day I will see your name at Harvard. That actually really happened. I was 13 years old and I thought, that's crazy. I'll never be at Harvard. I don't have anything that's going to I don't have any money. I'm not going to Harvard. Guess what? I am faculty at Harvard. And that teacher inspired me.
Hmm.
But he wasn't easy. He gave me tough feedback on my papers. It was like, I'm sure you had a couple of those, right?
Yes.
We look back and we think, gosh, I wish I had more of those.